What's up, guys? Based on Cinema, back at it again. Today we have a blast from the past. We're going to go review Gremlins from 1984. A young man inadvertently breaks three important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolently mischievous monsters on a small town. I'm Jacob.
I'm Nick.
And Nick said, I want to do Gremlins. And I said, okay. So that's what we did, and that's what we're doing. So we're going back in time much further than we ever have in terms of our reviews before. Something new, something different, something new for the channel at that. But I haven't seen this movie since I was like a kid, I would say. Probably the oldest I had to be was early teens. That's probably how long it's been for me since I've seen this movie.
Nice.
I never remembered loving it. I remember thinking it was good, but I was never crazy about it. I know some people really like Gremlins, but I was never huge into Gremlins. I was never really huge with the concept, and it just never stuck around for me in my life. And so I was not opposed to trying it again and watching it one more time because I really probably have only seen it once all the way through, but I remember it. What about you, Nick? What's your history with Gremlins?
I remember this would be one of those movies that would come on TV every Christmas, and I haven't watched it in a couple of years, good amount of years. But as a kid growing up, this was that movie for me as a kid for Christmas. Like, yes, there was like the stop motion animated Christmas movies from like the 70s
Those are
and
great.
like the
50s,
80s
60s.
that are like staples of like 50s, 60s, 70s that are staples that I'm never gonna be able to replace. But this movie right here was one of the movies that if you mention Christmas, this is what I would think about.
Yeah, I love
I love
those old
it.
stop motion ones.
We could do some of those for
Like
Christmas too.
Rudolph. What was the other one?
Santa Claus is coming to town.
There was
A
also,
Year Without a Santa
and
Claus.
of course, Charlie Brown.
Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, this is one of those movies for me, and you know,
Yeah.
it's really good to dive back into it and just like be like, oh, oh,
Right.
and then be like, yeah.
There's some scenes that I actually really enjoyed in this. So let's go through a couple of the actors just to see what they've done after this movie. But the director we have is John Dante. The reason I'm doing the directors and the actors very briefly, very briefly, is just because it's important to identify who worked on these movies that we consider classics and to see what they've done and what they're doing now, if they're even really alive.
Yo, Dante.
What's up?
It's Joe Dante.
What did I
You
say?
said John.
Okay.
You said John.
Joe Dante. Just correct me. It's all good.
I was trying. I want to interrupt you.
Interrupt me. Interrupt me whenever you want. We're good. I talk a lot, and I need some.
Start crying.
I need some input. So he
I see who the
actually,
writer was
dude.
after you're done.
Joe Dante did a movie called Nightmare Cinema.
I've heard of that. That's a classic.
That was made in 2018. I've been wanting to watch it. It's a horror movie. I have not seen it yet,
Dude,
but he did one of the segments. It's like an anthology.
he directed MacGyver
The
episode
TV series,
one
one of the
episode.
episodes, yeah.
Oh, dude. He did Small Soldiers, The Howling. Those are two of my favorite movies. That's sick.
He did a movie called The Movie Orgy.
Legends of Tomorrow. Michael, if you're watching, you know.
He's in a bunch,
The Movie
obviously.
Orgy?
He's an older guy. So he did Explorers from 1985, right after he did Gremlins. He did 1978's Piranha.
Oh, shit.
That's really all that's notable from him. I mean, Gremlins is like the biggest thing, one of his biggest things, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
He did The Twilight Zone, one episode in the 80s.
Zach Galligan, he played the main protagonist. He's doing a podcast series right now. He's done some shorts, some TV. But it was really Gremlins, and that really keeps him within the culture spotlight, I guess you could say. He was in Hatchet 3. I know you like the Hatchet movies.
I did like the Hatchet movies.
A couple Law and
Really good.
Orders.
Really good.
Yeah, man, that's really it for him. He has not. He was in Hellraiser 3.
Nice.
He got stabbed with a pool stick.
Who's next?
He was in Gremlins 2, of course, but all right. Next is Phoebe Cates, and this is the last one we'll do.
He is well known. Her name has gone around.
So in terms
She's
of
like a heartthrob of the
no,
80s.
that makes
She's
sense.
She's one of those girls.
But she hasn't done a lot of work. She only acted in 22 things. She stopped her
She
last.
was in Fast Times. That's why.
Yeah,
That makes so much more sense now. I only knew her for Gremlins. Be dead honest. Like I knew of her, her name.
right.
I knew that she's a heartthrob, like one of the '80s girls. But like Gremlins was the only thing I've seen her in. I didn't know she was in Fast Times. At least I didn't recognize it.
I was saying,
Crazy.
how old is she? Like, she hasn't done anything since 2015, and that was a video game.
She was born in 1963, so she's younger than my mom. Sorry, mom.
I don't know.
She hasn't done anything since 2015.
Yeah, she's not
Maybe
dead.
she retired. She just retired.
She's retired. Yeah. Didn't
She's
want
like,
to
hey,
do anything for the man, if you know what I mean. Didn't just like, you know what? I'm not doing nothing else. I'm gonna stop.
see,
But yeah, she was in Gremlins. She was in Babysitter, Private School, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, a movie called Paradise. But she really hasn't done anything past 2015, which was a Lego Dimensions video game character. So take with that what you will. Let's get into Gremlins. Opening scene. We're in Chinatown. The film opens in a shadowy, foggy Chinatown filled with narrow, winding alleyways and dim lighting, setting a mysterious and somewhat eerie tone. We meet Rand Peltzer, an inventor who narrates the story. His demeanor is curious, driven by an interest in unusual objects and inventions. Rand is searching for a unique Christmas gift for his son Billy, and stumbles upon a small, cluttered antique shop. Inside, strayed items and oddities fill the room. Rand notices a peculiar sound, soft singing, which leads him to the Mogwai, an exotic creature hidden in a cage. Shopkeeper warns Rand about the Mogwai's care, emphasizing 3 strict rules. Keep it away from water, don't expose it to bright light, and never feed it after midnight. And, he wasn't, the shop owner wasn't even going to let him take it. It was a little boy. He's like, hey, if you really want this, like, give me the money. And then I'll tell you the rules. I guess he's just that curious of a guy to pick up this random creature that doesn't look known to man and just decides to take it upon himself to give it as a pet to his son when he doesn't know anything about this creature. I mean, not very smart, but I guess he's just a special kind of dad. So
yeah.
it threw me off a little bit at first. I'm like, all right, because I don't remember anything about this film. So like, oh yeah, I'll take it. I want it. It's weird. I want it. It's cute. This is my son's new pet. Kind of quick for me. Is what it is. Whatever.
It's bad.
The scene shifts to a small snowy town in Kingston Falls. The atmosphere is warm and festive with Christmas decorations and cheerful music. That's when I realized it was a Christmas movie.
That's right.
We meet Billy Peltzer, a young man who works at a local bank and dreams of being an artist. Billy faces several minor conflicts, such as malfunctioning car and unpleasant. Has a malfunctioning car and an unpleasant encounter with Mrs. Deagle, a wealthy, heartless woman who threatens to kill his dog. He brought his dog to school. He brought his dog to work, hit it, and works at the bank. His car sucks. And I actually like this side character who tells him, he's like, oh yeah, American Car's where it's at. This old piece of junk, it's always gonna fail on you. And he is like one of the most consistent characters in this movie that I have a great time watching.
Stereotypical dude.
Yeah, he's just like stereotypical like American guy. In terms of like that element, like not in totality of America, but just in terms of like who like I totally understand the type of man that he is embodying as a character because I know people like that.
He was like the original 40s, 50s dude who's now in the age of like all these new imported vehicles that are supposed to be flashy and new and work really well. And he's just like, oh, nothing beats our shit.
Right. He's just a stone-blooded American man.
Like, I think Red Foreman even was like that in the '70s show.
Right. Yeah. Pretty. I mean, yeah, for sure. But yeah, you got this Mrs. Deagle. She's definitely man. She's got a problem with the world. What
She's
happened?
evil, dude.
Who hurt her? Literally threatened to kill the dog and make it suffer.
Slow, painful death.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, this movie's like almost 2 hours long. And I was like, what can they do? What can they put in this movie that makes it almost 2 hours long and, you know, supposed to be kind of this kind of movie? And I don't know. It just seemed like every scene that they had, they utilized it. Bless you. And everybody who was in it, character and acting, just did just fine. And it was enjoyable. Even the scene when he's in the bank with Mrs. Deagle, you didn't need that scene. You didn't need Mrs. Deagle, you know, but it gives you an idea of what's going on in the town, which is nice. And you get to see what's going on in his life. And she is like one of the worst human beings you could ever possibly imagine in terms of, you know, her character and her personality. It's rough. But now we're back at home. Rand presents Billy with his Christmas gift, the Mogwai, whom they named Gizmo. He named Gizmo. He's like, oh, Gizmo likes it. He likes the name. And they make Gizmo adorable throughout the entire movie. He's just this.
Yeah.
Gizmo's just this like innocent victim, really. You know, just vibes with
He's
whatever
just
he's
chill
with.
dude.
Chill dude.
He's just chill.
Just vibes with whatever who he's with.
Yeah.
Billy is immediately affectionate and kind, treating him as a pet. His gentle nature shines, showcasing his intelligence and sensitivity. Then they go upstairs and Gizmo's singing like a sweet melodic tune, and Billy, he's like doing it on the keyboard. Mm-hmm. He's like teaching Billy the song, and then he gets the note wrong, and then Gizmo touches the key that's correct. So obviously, you're getting a little taste that this isn't just an animal. This is a very intelligent creature that we've never seen before.
Yeah, and it can talk.
Yeah, it can talk, but like vaguely. It says like bright light, and it'll like say like little specks of phrases here and there.
I'm gonna put my money on it and say that the Gremlins inspired the Minions.
Look into that. Why not?
Yeah.
Rand explains the rules to Billy, setting the stage for the suspense that will follow if they're broken. While showing Gizmo to a friend, Pete accidentally spills water on him. Gizmo begins to tremble, and 5 new Mogwai pop out of him, each with distinct personalities. And like Gizmo was just like on the bed, just chilling, just like watching movies and stuff, just having fun, having a blast, living life. We all wish
we were pretending to be a race car.
Yeah, he's pretending to be in a race car when the movie's playing. Gizmo is who we all want to be in life, just vibing,
just chilling.
That's who you want. It's not who you're supposed to be, but like, you want a life like Gizmo's.
Yeah.
So then we got Corey Feldman popping. He's actually not listed on IMDb for some reason. I think it's just because he's blacklisted right now due to trying to expose pedophiles within the movie industry.
Yeah.
But he does a great job in this movie. He spills water on Gizmo and pops out.
You don't fuck with the comeback king.
Yeah, you don't mess with the comeback king.
Yeah.
He's the comeback king.
He is.
I agree with him.
Yeah, me too.
So the new Mogwai are mischievous, especially one with a stripe of white fur, who becomes the leader of the others. We have a hierarchy. But, you have Gizmo, who is like this cute, adorable thing, and then his, I guess, kids they're kind of just dicks.
They're assholes.
I don't get it. Like, I wonder, I don't know. Maybe it's because they don't have a mother in its life. I don't know.
I thought it was just like all the bad, like, thoughts and negative things that Gizmo might have had that he always resisted, now personified into these other little gremlins.
I guess, or maybe they're just so intelligent that even when they're first born, they just have a lower maturity level, but they're still very smart and mischievous. So like they have the ability to be dicks,
Mm,
and they don't have the experience yet to not be dicks.
that makes sense.
You know,
Because Gizmo's probably been around for a minute.
right? The scene carries an uneasy, almost comedic tone with popping sounds as each Mogwai emerges. This begins to establish a darker tone as the new Mogwai show signs of malice. And then, like, Billy's friend by Corey Feldman, he's like, "Oh, can I have one?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, I guess."
No, and he's like, I don't think that's a good idea.
But then he's like, "Now can I have one?" Because now there's 5 more. He's like, "Yeah, sure." I don't think he
They
actually
bring him.
took. I don't think he actually took one though.
Nah. And they bring him to the school.
Right. After the Mogwai tamper with the flock, Billy feeds them after midnight, unwittingly breaking one of the rules. He doesn't know it, but he thought it was before midnight. It was after midnight. They bit through the clock's wires, and it died. And they start to basically go into like a hibernation, or a, what's that term that is used with
Uh,
caterpillars?
Prenatal?
Metamorphosis.
Yeah, metaphor. But in the, I think the movie they called it like something like that. But metamorphosis is what they did go through. Correct. Gizmo over here like, what the fuck?
Next day, Billy finds the Mogwai in slimy cocoons, reminiscent of insect, and signaling a major transformation. This introduces horror elements with grotesque visuals and eerie sound effects, contrasting with the warm tones of your earlier scenes. Got some alien inspiration here, perhaps. Maybe just a little bit.
That's what I was thinking. I watched it. I watched it just last night. I was like, I'll see what you did there.
I felt it a little bit. Like, this is kind
I see
of
what you did there.
kind of reminiscent. It's probably just because
You
I've
know,
watched all the alien movies recently, but I thought it was reminiscent.
they're here very subtly flirting with a lawsuit. Just like, hey, it's close, not too close.
And you got like this. You got dry ice. You got some smoke. You got some green lighting. The cocoons hatch, releasing monstrous, scary, scaly creatures, the Gremlins. So these are the Gremlins. Before, they were simply known as Mogwai, and now they're Gremlins.
Yeah.
It's what they become if you break the rule.
One of my favorite parts of the movie is when the stereotypical the American dude,
Yes.
was like, yeah, he's super drunk coming out of the bar, and he's like, yeah, like foreigners, they put gremlins in your TVs, in your
And then
radios,
they ship them down there,
in your
and
walls,
they hide in the cars, and
in your cars, and they ship them out, and you're everywhere.
right. Um, they hatch. They got like sharp teeth, sinister eyes, creating an immediate sense of dread. They cackle and screech, establishing them as purely chaotic and malevolent creatures. They quickly become violent, sabotaging household appliances and attacking Billy's mother, Lynn, in an intense scene where she fights them off. I was actually curious, like, because I knew it was like, well, she's got to kill them.
Yeah,
And I didn't expect her to full on go on a
she went John
rampage.
Wick.
Yeah, she went John Wick on the Gremlins.
I straight up was watching this, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna tell Jacob, like, if she had enough prep time, she could have become the main character at that point. She could have just
Right.
went on like a whole spree and just
She did
she
great.
was single-handedly
Single-handedly.
taking out all of the minions, all of the
All the
gremlins.
Gremlins. Put one in a blender, put one in the microwave.
Stabbed one to death.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah. She
Was it the
runs
third
up to
one?
one. I think it was the third one.
I think you're right.
She like basically just goes. It's fucking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A good scene. I was honestly surprised and shocked. It looked good. Like, even though,
It's
like,
good stuff.
Gremlins, I mean, the Gremlins look good they look really good. They work for me. You know, it's just the effects are great. They look great. The design's cool. It's a big change from the Mogwai. Huge change from the
Yeah.
Mogwai just from feeding them after midnight. Um, but I mean, I just think it all works, and I think that's the reason why this film is pronounced in cinema, because everything about it is solid. The story's
Mm-hmm.
good. The acting is good. The cast is good. The look is good. It's shot well, and the Gremlins look scary, and the Mogwai are adorable.
Yeah. And they got such memorable music
It's
as
true.
well. Not just like soundtrack music, but like original stuff they use for like the Mogwai and the Gremlins.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you hear like the Gremlin music, you're immediately gonna be like even if you didn't really know, like subconsciously, be like, oh wait, isn't that
Mm-hmm.
from that movie, that '80s movie?
Oh yeah, I definitely won't forget it for sure. I'll remember it forever now.
Mm.
So the Gremlins spread across town, causing havoc in local businesses, including a bar where they drink, smoke, and terrorize patrons. Isn't that after they fall into the pool though?
Yeah, it's after the Fall Pool.
So I have the chronology here.
So
But
after they
essentially he like brings
escape
them one of them to
this
the
pool,
school to one of the professors or one of the scientific teachers, and that one feeds. After midnight, he like leaves his sandwich carelessly
right
on the
next to it.
table and just eats it. He's like, "I'm out of here. I'm going. I'm leaving my food right here," and then gets up and leaves,
Peace.
just conveniently. Uh,
Yeah.
and then they basically hatch at the same time. That one escapes. Billy goes to get it back. Essentially, finds the doctor in the evening, who's got a needle in his leg. I guess
There's
the
that.
gremlin just found a syringe and loaded it with some medicinal medicine, or maybe there's one already loaded and then just knew what to do.
Could have been oxygen. Just been like,
It could have been oxygen. That kills you pretty quickly.
mm-hmm.
Um, then like Billy goes look for it, and this is like the first time we're really seeing, I think, the image, unless it's really with the mom. I can't remember. But then they go to the pool, just dunks right in the pool, and the whole thing bubbles and smokes and it's green, and that's when they all just get let loose and go throughout the town. Billy goes to the police. There's like two of them working at the station. It's a small town, I guess, and they're just making a
They
joke
think
out
he's
of it.
drunk.
Yeah, they're drinking coffee and putting liquor in the coffee. Um, Probably a very real thing that happens. Um,
Yeah.
or at least used to. And then we get to like the bar scene, and that was my favorite scene. It was honestly hilarious. Um, a little over the top,
Oh yeah.
a little over the top at times, but I think that's the point. That was just like a dark comedy bit, and you have Billy's love interest there who's trying to serve them as fast as possible, and just their mannerisms, the way that they act, it's so human, but like degenerately human that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
They're just getting drunk, like the Stripes got his girlfriend, and it's like just a gremlin dressed up in female attire with makeup, and I can't really remember anything else specifically from that scene, but it was a great scene. It was
They're like
literally,
chain smoking,
yeah,
yeah,
they're
and they're
just
like
chain
drinking,
smoking. Yeah, one's
playing
got
video games.
playing video games. They got like one has like 3 cigs in his mouth. And then she tries to light the cigarette for one of them, and that's when she notices the fire they don't like because it's bright, and that's when
Hmm.
she gets them out with the Polaroid or whatever it was. But I think it was pretty much
And then
Polaroid.
Stripe, the one with the mohawk, his girl like whispers to him about the one next to her,
Uh,
another one next to her, and he pulls out a pistol and
you
blows
just
his
yeah,
fucking
just shoots them like it's the Wild
blows him
West.
away.
Yeah, like it's the Wild West. It's a great scene. It's a really fun scene. You just don't expect it, and it comes out of left field, and you just have
Oh
no
yeah.
idea. You had no expectation that was going to happen. Um, so yeah, that's then they go to the movie theater. They're just messing with the film reels and saying that you could tell he's just the lead with his girl, and he's just like looking back at everybody like they're a bunch of degenerates, and he's like the mature one. And that's when they try to basically explode the place, Billy and the girl, and eventually they let loose of the gas and they make a fire. And then they notice them behind the screen, and they go chase after them, but it's too late. They escape. It blows up. Um,
Killing a majority of the gremlins.
the majority, and the police finally are going out and seeing what's happening. Like this one woman just flies out of her house on the on that elevator ride seat
That was
thing.
the Mrs. Deagle.
That was her, right? Yeah, yeah, that's right. And then one guy's got them like multiple all around him. You
Santa
know,
Claus.
Santa Claus. Um, Now it's just a nightmare. Maybe before it was just a quiet Christmas lit town.
Corey Feldman's in the IMDb castings list.
I don't see him there.
Yeah, he's there. Top cast. He's 5 down from the right side.
There he is. Never mind. Corey Feldman's
He's not
there.
blacklisted.
He's not blacklisted. Not yet.
We stand with him. Solidarity. Corey Feldman.
Comeback king.
Comeback king.
Billy and Gizmo confront Stripe, the last remaining gremlin, in a department store. Stripe hides among the aisles using various items of weapons, literally throws like a saw blade at his head.
Yeah.
The department store's bright fluorescent lighting contrasts its intentions, and basically they go into a fight, and I think it's her who just puts all the lights on, and he just skedaddles out of there, and then he follows him to. No, I'm wrong. There's a fountain in the store. He goes over to the fountain,
Yeah.
and he basically threatens that he's gonna jump in. Then Gizmo manages to open a skylight, flooding Stripe with sunlight and killing him in a gruesome melting sequence.
Dude, as soon as those beams of sunlight hit him, he melted like Dracula.
Yeah, literally like a vampire. And it looked really cool.
It looked badass.
Yeah, special effects were cool. It worked so well. I was actually impressed by the way it looked, and I was pretty impressed. I'm not gonna lie. It looked very good, and then like when it was like practically a skeleton. It like, you know, like its skin was still trying to bubble and produce.
Yeah.
Reproduce,
But it was
I should
too
say,
late.
but it was too late. And then a skeleton finally like makes one last gasp. But it was sick. After that, the town slowly returns to normal, though visibly shaken by the events. The elderly shopkeeper returns to reclaim Gizmo, scolding the Peltzers for not following the rules and implying humans are not ready for such a creature. Gizmo and Billy Billy and Gizmo share a tender moment of farewell. They're both sad. And the shopkeeper's warning lingers, leaving the audience with a cautionary note about respect for other creatures and the unpredictability of seemingly harmless things. All right. Very brief chronology here, but I figured we could just talk mostly about it. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any hidden meanings here and like hidden layers. It could be about treating animals with respect.
There was a line that he said at the end of the movie. The shopkeeper. He's like, it's just like you people to not respect like the natural balance or like nature of the world, the nature of the world, stuff like that. And that was pretty like that was pretty like just straight up, not like a subtle.
Okay.
Or to mess with things they don't understand. Or tamper with things they don't understand.
Right. We kind of have Gizmo as this product and is brought home like an exciting new toy. However, the disaster that follows shows the consequences of acquiring things without fully understanding their impact or following the instructions.
I think they had great performances around.
The only thing that was iffy about it was the writing a little bit. I think all the acting was fine, but there were little bits and pieces of like stuff stuff hitting the fan. Like when Billy realizes the severity of the situation at first, I think when they first multiply or when they first change, like his reaction isn't like too worrisome. It's just it really is kind of one of those campy 80s movies in which they just gotta get the job done. You know?
Yeah. Like when he found out the cord to his phone the clock was put ripped up. He's like, What's going on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Like I think
I was like, oh shit.
I don't know if that's a directing thing, which it could have been. Maybe it was the acting director was like, all right, we took too many takes. Like just we'll use that one. Just
Yeah,
I don't know. But some things
that
didn't
was
hit.
good. That was good. We'll use that. Let's move on.
Use that. Oh yeah, we'll just move. Yeah,
We'll just move on.
that's what I think. It could be a directing thing or an acting thing. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I think aside from like some acting choices, I think it was pretty solid, like all around.
No, it's not a bad movie. I just think there's something about Gremlins that doesn't hit hard for me. I appreciate it. I will show my kids the Gremlins movie.
You better.
Yeah, I'll never. I've never seen the sequels. I'm not really interested in watching the sequels, but like at the
Apparently,
same
the
time,
second one sucks.
yeah, they don't look good. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, well, I'll watch the first one, I might as well watch the second too. But at the same time, there's no need. They obviously made so much money with that first one. They were just like, okay, we're making more, like they do with every other
Money
movie.
time.
Money time. You got
Yeah.
money. Give me more. Give me more Gremlins. And that's what they did. Billy makes a second appearance in the second movie, so I don't know how that goes down, but
I never watched it.
never watched it either.
When I was growing up, I would see the trailer for it, and it looked crazy, but it looked really like 80s camp.
Mm.
And everything I've heard about it is just like it was really bad. It just kind of loses the magic of the original. But like they did like basically go the next level in terms of like designs for the creatures and then like what they're able to do.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I haven't heard anything good.
I would definitely consider it a Christmas movie.
It's definitely a Christmas movie.
Yeah. But is it identifiable as a horror movie?
I think it's a great like introduction or a gateway movie to
That's
like
true.
real
A
horror
gateway movie.
for kids. Like for kids. Like you ever want kids to get into like scary movies in the future? You start with this.
I should just go straight to it and go to Tusk.
Get the fuck up.
We should do Tusk. We gotta do Tusk and then Sleepaway Camp.
Oh yeah,
That's what we should do.
you're right. We should
Both I would consider cult classics.
definitely both are cult classics.
I would
Yeah.
have to agree with that.
We're gonna do Nightmare on Elm Street.
What's up?
Then we'll do Nightmare on Elm Street the first Friday and first Halloween.
We can do that. I'll be down for that.
Excuse me.
I want to do Heretic too. Heretic looks interesting.
That looks fun. Like in a weird, fucked up way.
I agree. I mean, this had Steven Spielberg as an executive producer as well. It's even on the poster, like Steven Spielberg presents.
Yeah, even in the beginning of the movie, it's like Steven Spielberg
Yeah,
presents,
yeah.
just like the poster.
He's like,
None of these people. Huh?
I was like, I'll promote this and I'll put money into it. Just put me right in the front. Make sure they know.
Make sure they know who did this.
Who allowed this to happen?
None of these people realized they were in the presence of the comeback king when they were making this.
They didn't. I think that's the
None
reason.
of them realized.
Like, a Star was born.
Yeah.
True
Not
Star.
the shitty movie.
True Star was. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah. It's like Gaga's worst performance for me.
Not the Harley Quinn?
No, I think that was her best performance personally. I think
the hotel. What about Hotel?
American Horror
Story.
I mean, I haven't watched that since it came out, so I couldn't really tell you how her acting was there. But as far as my memory goes, Like I didn't think she hit at all in A Star Was Born. It just felt flat,
Mm.
and you just had her sing, and that's what everybody was crazy about. I think her
For
acting was good. Like it wasn't good. Sorry.
for for everybody listening, her acting was flat, not her singing.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying.
Everybody can agree that Lady Gaga is definitely a great singer. Um, but she wasn't the best actor when Star Wars Born came out. But I think that I think she did very good for
Joker.
for yeah, in Joker 2. Um, that's what I think.
All right, sick,
We got
sick.
Nick's got to watch that movie, and we will review it whenever he does.
Yeah, I gotta get to that.
That's gonna be a conversation. That's gonna be a very interesting conversation that I'm excited for.
I like haven't heard anything about it in full.
That's good.
I heard some things, but I'm not sure if they were true. So I just
Right.
kind of forgot them, like put them back in my mind, like this probably not true.
I think like Nick said, I think this is a great segue and gateway to horror movies for the younger generations. Um, Kind of like Monster House, the animated movie, does
Mm,
in that same realm. You know, Gremlins is a
yeah,
great start. And what's good about these kind of kiddie campy movies is you have a lot of elements for the adults and you have a lot of elements for the kids. You know,
yeah.
just like Star Wars or so many other films do. Oh, the one scene in Gremlins that I liked is when they use the American man, the drunk guys. They use his excavator and they drive it through his house
Oh
and
yeah.
they kill him in the corner. He's like, "They're Gremlins. I told you." And he's like, "Yeah, you did.
He was
He
right.
was right."
He's like, I knew they were real. He tried to tell me they weren't,
Right.
but I knew.
I always knew. No one
Shit,
bel
deep state.
no one believed me.
No one believed me. No
Like
one believed me until they saw green.
I probably won't watch this movie again until I have kids. That's just how I feel about it. Like Gremlins doesn't do much for me, but I will never discredit what it's done for cinema. I'll never
Because he has no
discredit.
soul.
I'll never discredit it for what it puts on the table for animatronics, special effects, and story and horror. It being really a gateway for it, and I have a lot of respect for this film. I really do. Um, and for a PG movie, it's pretty not PG at times,
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
pretty intense at times. But you know, like I said, I will respect it for what it is. But I have no aspiration to watch it again, unless I had a reason. Just like today, recording this is definitely a reason Nick wanted to do it, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I haven't watched it in forever. I'm down.
Oh yeah.
I'm down. So,
I got to do something. I got to choose.
like Nick said, it's one of
If
those.
you can't take that away from me.
I'll never take it away from you.
Thank you.
I don't got much else to say. Like, is there anything that you want to
It's
talk about? Like, I could do some trivia real quick. I could do some fun facts.
definitely do trivia and fun facts, but aside from that, it's a really feel good movie. At the end, you feel good. It leaves you feeling like warm inside. Um, you get a lot of the issues that were happening in the movie, like family issues that were like weren't very discussed, but you could tell there's like little bits of things going on here and there with the dad, the mom,
Money
just how
problems.
they're living, money problems, relationship problems that weren't fully talked about but hinted at.
Remember when she was watching that Christmas movie? What's it called?
It's a Wonderful
It's a Wonderful
Life.
Life, and like it's like the happiest scene of the movie. She's like, "Oh, what's wrong, Mom?" Is like, "Oh, it's a sad movie," and she's watching like the ending of it, which is like the
Yeah,
happiest moment where he's like has all
yeah.
this love and joy. So it kind of shows where her mind's at.
And then at the end of the movie, they kind of like all this stuff had us like finally brought them together.
Right.
Um, it's for me, it's more of a nostalgia, like childhood thing that makes me like really love it, and
Yeah.
like I want to keep going back to it. Gizmo is like number one thing for me. Like I always wanted to get like a Gremlin or a Mogwai growing up. They sell them now,
Oh yeah.
and I'm tempted. But yeah, aside from that, it's just a really good feel-good movie. I really did enjoy rewatching it, taking a blast from the past, and like stepping into my childhood, and like just being like, oh, I didn't get that before. Now I do.
Right.
Um, because like Jacob said, it works for both adults and kids. If you loved it as a kid, you're gonna love it as an adult. If you loved it as an adult, your kids are probably gonna love it too.
I agree.
And I haven't seen a film um like it in terms of just how it's shot. For certain shots, like the opening, it feels like a noir detective movie with how it opens up. And when it closes, it feels like something like out of E.T.
Mm-hmm.
because you have the sunset or the sunrise, and over this town, you see him, the owner shopkeeper with his box with Gizmo just walking down into the sunset or into the sunrise,
Right.
and it feels like just right in those instances, just like and then the opening too, like when you're seeing like the establishing shot of the town, and you got Christmas coming in,
Yeah. It,
and all
it looked
that,
great.
and it just hits.
It looked great. Like the warms are very warm and the cools are very cool,
Yeah,
and the saturation was beautiful. Like this, the cinematography was great, and the man, I miss film.
yeah.
I miss film so much. We got to
Get
start
back
using
on.
film again. Honestly, it's so difficult to use, but like at least shoot it on film
Yeah,
if you got that money.
like it would be nice to see more films done that way. See.
But that was one of the things I
Yes.
always kept thinking throughout the movie is like, man, this is shot beautifully. It looks great.
Yeah. For your fun facts, are you gonna talk about the awards?
You could talk about the rewards real quick if you
All
have
right,
it in front of you.
I got it. So the Gremlins
We'll put your mic a
movie.
little closer too.
So Gremlins, 1984. It had 8 wins and 7 nominations. It
In the
won
Oscars or just in general, in totality.
in the Academy of Science Fiction and Horror and Fantasy Films,
Oh, cool.
USA.
All right.
It won Best Horror Film in 1985. Dick Miller won Best Supporting Actor. Polly Holliday won Best Supporting Actress. Best performance by a younger actor was Corey Feldman, and Best Director Joe Dante, 1985. And those were all Saturn awards. Um, Golden Screen in Germany, it won winner for the Golden Screen. Um, Young Artist Awards, Best Young Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical Comedy, or Adventure or Drama, Corey Feldman. Best Family Motion Picture Adventure,
I mean, if you
it
think
won
about it,
that as well.
nothing really was. Gremlins really. There's nothing.
Oh, he was a nominee. Never mind.
Oh, okay. There was
So
nothing like.
Dick Miller is a nominee,
Okay.
and Corey Feldman's a nominee for both those two different categories.
Got it.
Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. I think Gremlins is no one really had seen anything like that in a PG movie at the time, I
Mm-mm.
think. And like I said, it's like Alien is like the R version. Um, but I'd say that there was nothing really like Gremlins until Gremlins happened, and that's why it made waves at the time.
No, 100%. It won. It got nominated for Best International Film in the Jupiter Awards. It was nominated for International Film Music Critics Award. It was 2012 nominated for Best Archival Release of an Existing Score.
Nice.
And then Online Film and Television Association, it won 2020 winner OFTA Film Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Hmm.
It deserves some. It deserves some Hall of Fame status,
Hell yeah.
especially what it did.
Oh, man,
You
what is
know.
this? Best Writing 1985 nominee. Best Music winner, 1985, Jerry Goldsmith. Best Makeup nominee, Greg LaCava. And Best Special Effects winner, Chris Wallace.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Listen to this. The set for Kingston Falls is the same one used for Back to the Future.
Really?
Yeah. Both movies were
Dude.
filmed on the Universal Studios backlot.
Hell yeah.
Originally, Stripe and Gizmo were the same character. This changed when executive producer Steven Spielberg insisted one of the Gremlins be a good guy with whom the audience could identify with. Director Joe Dante expresses that this decision was the only reason why the film is fondly remembered. Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you got Spielberg.
You know shit.
The Santa speech proved to be controversial, and studio executives insisted upon its removal because they felt it was too ambiguous as to whether it was supposed to be funny or sad. Director Joe Dante, however, stubbornly refused to take the scene out, saying it represented the movie as a whole, which had a combination of horrific and comedic elements. Steven Spielberg did not like the scene, but despite his creative control, he reviewed this movie as Dante's project and allowed him to leave it in.
Nice.
What Santa speech was this?
I'm not sure. I thought I was referencing the one about.
I think her father.
I
Her
think
father?
the father one. The
Oh.
father one. When Phoebe's
Yeah,
character
yeah.
talked about her father.
Right. It's true.
The worst thing that ever happened to me was on Christmas. Oh God, it was terrible. It was so horrible. It was Christmas Eve. I was 9 years old. Me and my mom were decorating a tree, waiting for my dad to come home from work. A couple of hours went by. Dad wasn't home, so mom called the office. No answer. Christmas Day came and went. Still nothing. So the beast began to search. 4 or 5 days went by. Neither one of us could eat or sleep. Everything was falling apart. It was snowing outside. The house was freezing. So I went to try and light up the fire. That's when I noticed the smell. The firemen came and broke through the chimney top, and me and my mom were expecting them to pull out a dead cat or bird. Instead, they pulled out my father. He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit. He'd been climbing down the chimney, his arms loaded with presents. He was gonna surprise us. He slipped and broke his neck. He died instantly. And that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus.
You need that. Like I said, it's got stuff for kids and it got stuff for adults.
Mm-hmm. Dude, Kate's character went through some shit.
No, she did.
Oh my god.
I mean, Billy's like, why do you hate Christmas? Christmas is the best. And it was like, yeah, that makes sense.
And she's like, you hate, people can hate everything else, but once you hate Christmas, they act like you're a freaking leper. And then he's like, what? Well, chill, calm down, Rachel. Relax. And then she's like, my dad died on Christmas. You shut the fuck up.
No, she has the right to say she doesn't like Christmas.
100%.
In Cantonese, Mogwai means devil, demon, or gremlin.
Holy shit. I'm gonna start calling my sister a Mogwai.
An earlier attempt to have monkeys play the gremlins was abandoned because the test monkey panicked when it was made to wear a gremlin head.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that probably would not have been safe. One of the studio notes to director Joe Dante and Steven Spielberg on seeing the first cut was that there were too many gremlins. Spielberg suggested cutting them all out and calling the movie People. That's good.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. There was no CGI, so all the gremlins were animatronics, each costing between $30,000 to $40,000.
Holy shit.
In modern day, that's $60,000 to $90,000.
That's insane, dude.
When everyone left for the lot that day, security would have everyone open their trunks to make sure they weren't stolen.
Jeez.
The film was released on the same day as Ghostbusters.
Hey.
Little to no dialogue for the Gremlins and Mogwai existed in the script, in addition to several instances of on-set rewrites, changing or adding too much of the script. The voiceovers were mostly ad-libs, repeating snippets of just performed dialogue, or in reaction to other sound effects or environment.
$11 million budget.
To this end, Howie Mandel recorded Gizmo's lines phonetically for foreign dubs of the movie, where localized dialogue and in-jokes helped make this movie successful with audiences worldwide. Howie Mandel.
That's
Yeah,
nuts.
right? Who would have known?
That's fucking nuts. What?
Chris Columbus' script went through a few drafts before a shooting script was finalized. His original version had the Gremlins killing the dog and cutting off the mom's head and tossing it down the stairs. These elements were never shot due to the fact that director Joe Dante and Warner Brothers wanted the movie to be more family oriented. That would have been one hell of a horror movie.
Dude, Chris Columbus. First the Indians, now this kid's mom. That's fucked up, dude.
Damn, Chris.
That's fucked up. That's crazy. So fucked up.
Damn, Chris.
Damn, Chris. Damn, Daniel.
Let's see what we
Dude,
got.
Chris Columbus wrote The Goonies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, in the bar scene, the video game the Gremlins are playing is Star Wars.
No way.
Yeah.
That's sick.
After the film's release, director Joe Dante stated, "I still have no idea why this picture was successful."
Come on, Joe.
Director Joe Dante prefers Gremlins 2 to this movie.
He's the only one. Dude, I don't blame Zach Galligan already auditioned for parts with Phoebe Cates before and felt very comfortable with her. When it came to this session, he rested his head on her shoulder, gazed at the camera. Executive producer Steven Spielberg said, "Oh my God, look at that! He's in love with her already. I don't need to see anything else." And it's like, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. You need chemistry.
Phoebe Cates.
You need good chemistry. Zach Galligan was the first to point out that "don't feed after midnight" rule is silly because it's always after midnight somewhere. Quote, we will make fun of all of that stuff in Gremlins 2 anyway, says director Joe Dante.
Phoebe Cates recalls hearing some studio concerns after Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She might not be wholesome enough to play Kate. Director Joe Dante had seen the movie and felt that she was awfully wholesome.
Wow. So Fast Times was first?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 2-3 years first.
Wow.
Chris Columbus wrote the script for this movie and directed Home Alone, Home Alone 2, and all three movies have a video clip of It's a Wonderful Life.
Nice. That's awesome. Gizmo was the inspiration for the Furby. Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phoebe Cates says kissing Zach Galligan was like kissing your brother, and Galligan blames a set visit from Steven Spielberg for making him feel nervous. As I recall, his main concern was to make sure Gizmo was in the shot, says director Joe Dante.
That's cute.
That's rough, dude.
It's rough, but it's cute. Oh, remember when the Gremlins were doing Christmas carols? That was hilarious.
The last movie to be shot on Eastman Color 125T film stock, which was discontinued shortly after this movie finished shooting.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
The scene in the department store where Stripe attacks Billy with a chainsaw was not in the script. It was added by director Joe Dante and Zach Galligan as an homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's dope, dude.
Nice.
That's sick.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
It's a great fun fact.
Oh, man. The fourth biggest grossing film of 1984.
The original script contained a scene where the Gremlins attacked a McDonald's, eating the customer instead of burgers.
Oh my God.
Mr. Hansen, which was the science teacher, originally died with dozens of hypodermic needles stuck in his face. So, like, this is our first movie that we're reviewing with long pauses in between. I think I'll probably go in and edit them out.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to get this pacing better. This is our first film that we go back really, really much into the past. So, if you like this one, let us know. I think I'm going to give this movie a 3.5.
4.
4.
Okay, no, 3.5.
4 for the man.
Ugh. I'm not doing it for nostalgia. I won't do it. You can't make me. I'll do it for the film stock and how it's shot.
Okay. I respect that.
Or for
It,
the
it
film
looks
stock.
beautiful. And does this go on the horror tier list or standard tier list? I think standard.
I think standard.
So at the bottom of our tier list for standard movies, we have $5 bin. There's just some movies that are land in $5 bin boxes, just DVDs and Blu-rays. Next one, straight to on demand. Sometimes they don't even want to put money into it physically, but they're smarter about it. They put it straight to on demand. It's never really going to make a difference whether it's in the movies or not. Next up is bang for your buck. You pretty much got what you paid for, and you're satisfied. It's like a good one-time watch. Above that is buy it on 4K, instant buy on 4K. After that, play it again. It's so good, you want to see it one more time. And on top of that, the top tier, cinema. Cinema. I'll buy it on 4K.
Probably 4K.
Yeah, I'll buy it on 4K.
4K sounds
like I said, I won't even play it again until I have kids probably, but I would buy it on 4K. It's just one of those movies you want to have in the collection, I would say.
I agree.
Any closing what's up?
It's definitely one of those movies that, aside from like I said, all those stop motion, claymation Christmas movies, this is a good one to put on right after November, going into December.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you're getting right out of that spooky season, transitioning into the holidays.
Right.
Unfortunately, as a society, we just right after Halloween, November 1st, we're blasting Christmas music. So that hurts. That hurts a little bit. For me,
we need more of a transition.
Doesn't start till the end of November.
Right. At least mid-November. At least.
I'm milking November for all the festive fall theme stuff you can have.
Right. Keeping October alive.
Don't want to see an ounce of white snow.
I'm already seeing Christmas commercials like the day after Halloween. So let us know what you guys think. How would you rate it out of 5 stars? And let us know where you put it on our tier list. Like I said, this is our first throwback movie that we're doing, so we're getting better with the pacing, the fun facts, as well as the chronology. We're still trying to figure it out, so bear with us. But yeah, this has been Gremlins. Great watch. Looking forward to the next oldie that we do. And I'm Jacob.
Nick.
Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.